What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, I'm CS2 Harris. I put out informational videos about the Navy. This video is going to be a Q&A video, so I'm going to go into detail on most of the comments, most of the questions you guys ask in my videos. I can kind of elaborate on it a little bit more because when I reply to you guys, I give you the short answer. Like always, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I answer every question you guys have, so we're going to jump straight into the video. Alright, so I got my phone right here. I'm going to be reading some of the comments you guys asked. If I can't pronounce your name, because some of these names are weird, I won't say your name. I'll just read your comment. But if I can't pronounce it or read your name, I will read off your name who's giving the comment. Alright, so my first question is from Eric Harrison. He's asking, is there a place you can change, or does everyone just change out on the open? So no, there's no place you can change. You can either change in the head after you get out the shower, change in there. Most people just change in front of their rack. So you know the aisles are kind of tight. You might get 3 or 4 people changing right next to you. It get a little clustered, but that's the only place you can change. So if you kind of shy, you got to get over that, because it's no fitting rooms. It's no closet you can go into and change. You have to change out in the open. All right, so my second question is, do you ever have CBs on board the ship? And this is from Steven Parada. Yes, we have CBs on my ship. So I was on an LPD ship. It's around 400 people. With Marines, it can get up to 1,200 people. We do have CBs on board. They're pretty much the last people to get on board and the first people to get off. So that's a good thing. But yeah, we'll have the CBs with us riding through the whole deployment. And they'll be doing their missions out to the side. But yeah, we have CBs on board. All right, so the next question is a pretty good question. It's from Paige Landry. When can you have a car on base? And if so, what rank? Alright, so you can have a car on base. Everyone can have a car on base. What rank? You can have a car as soon as E1. So pretty much as soon as you get out of A school, you can have a car. You can drive it to your first command. And from there on, you can get a car whenever you want. As long as you can afford that car and pay for it, it don't matter what rank you are at. Everyone can have cars on base. So yeah, it's no restriction to rank. Starting from E1 all the way up to captain and above, you can have a car on base. All right, this is a great question. It's from Jonah M. How often do you communicate with family? So I've been on 3 deployments, and every deployment I was able to communicate with family pretty much every day. So when you get to your ship, you have a ship email, a command email. So you can use that to email your loved ones back home pretty much every day, as long as you can able to get on the computer. We also have Facebook. You can get on, the internet is up, so you can use Facebook, your personal email. There are also POTS lines where you can call home in case of emergency. You can go to your LPO's office, and most phones in there you can call home. And they also have pay phones you could call home too, but on the pay phones, it's always a long line with those. So your best option is use the email, the ship email, to keep in touch with your loved ones back home. But yeah, I never had an issue where I wasn't able to get in contact with my family, but there are some times where the ship will kind of put a hold or restriction on emailing and Facebook, because we're doing a secret mission and they don't want anyone putting out personal information or secret information. So they'll kind of go into River City, which kind of shuts down all outgoing mail and trafficking, so you can't get in contact with anyone outside of the ship. So that could last from a couple weeks to a week, couple days. It all depends what's going on. But in all, you can always get in contact with family. All right, so this next question is for Joseph Alvarez. Can you buy portable Wi-Fi and bring it on the ship to have better internet? I mean, you can bring that, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, because on the ship it's still, so you don't even get cell phone reception when you're inside the skin of the ship. And also, we always out in the ocean. We in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to get any kind of service. So I don't even think your portable Wi-Fi will work. You're not even supposed to hook anything up to the computers on the ship or certain outlets. So it's going to be kind of slim for you to use it in the first place. So I wouldn't even bring a portable Wi-Fi to better your chances with internet, because it is 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work. All right, the next question I got was, where do you store the rest of your stuff? So if you watch my video, you'll see it's about 4 or 5 lockers that you get in your berthing. They are small, so you're limited to space. But a lot of departments have their own little storage room where you can store things, your sea bags, personal belongings, things that you get from ports when you're getting souvenirs and things like that. But it is limited, so I would kind of limit yourself to the things you bring on your deployment, like clothes and shoes and things like that. Just kind of limit it, bring the bare necessities, and you do have a little bit more space. This question is from Chris Canto. Is there a masthead of arms on the aircraft carriers as well, or just on smaller ships? So yeah, you can have MAs on both smaller ships and larger deck ships. So aircraft carriers and small boys like cruisers, destroyers, LPDs, it's MAs on all platforms of ship. Mind you, on the bigger ship you have more MAs. On the smaller ship like mine, we had only 1 MA, and at the end of the deployment we had 2. So yeah, and it was a senior chief in the first class. So if you're an MA and you're a junior sailor, you're not even going to be on the ship. You'll be on shore duty, standing gate duty, or whatever else MAs do. Alright, this question is from Julius J. Caesar. He's asking, how many MAs are there on the ship, and do they have different berthings, or do they share berthings? So on my ship at LPD, it was 400 sailors on our ship, and we had 2 MAs. We had a senior chief and a first class. And yeah, they got with the MAs being so small, community on the ship, they just shared berthing. So we had the MA1 in our berthing, supply berthing, with the CSs, LSs, and SHs. There was also a couple of HMs on the ship, but I'm sure if you're on a bigger deck like an aircraft carrier, you have your own berthing because you have a much larger crew. So each berthing have their own rank. Alright, this question is from Thomas Connell. Do you get to choose what rack you get to sleep in? So yes, you get to choose your rack to a certain extent. If you're a junior sailor coming to the ship, they're pretty much going to give you a rack, what's available. But if there's a couple racks available, you get to pick from those racks. But most of the time, the junior sailors get the top rack or either the bottom rack. The first classes and higher second classes will get to pick from the middle racks. And that's just how it is. When I got to my ship, I had a top rack, and I just kept that the whole 4 years I was on my ship. But yeah, once you make rank, you get if you want to swap racks, you can, or if someone moves out the rack, you can try to get into their rack. But most of the middle racks will be for the first classes, and then the higher second classes, and then everyone else will just fall in after that. Alright, so this next question is from Darius. If my first sea tour is 53 months, am I on the ship for 53 months straight? Alright, so a lot of people ask, are you on the ship the whole 4 or 5 years that your contract is? No, so you're not on the ship. You work on the ship. So as long as the ship is port to dock, you get to go home every day. And you just come back to the ship to work. And after that, you go home like a normal job. But if we're out to sea, out on the water, then you're on that ship no matter what. You're on that ship every day. So if you're on deployment for 8 months, you're on the ship every day. Okay? But in port, when the ship is docked, you get to go home just like a regular job, unless you got duty. Alright, the next question I got. Do people try to steal your stuff? So on the ship, I'm not going to lie. If you got stuff laying out and somebody need it, they'll take it. You're limited to certain things, especially 4 or 5 months into deployment, when the ship store has ran out of stuff, you ran out of stuff, and if you need something and then somebody left it out, it's gonna get got. So don't leave your stuff out. I had to learn the hard way. When I first got to my ship, I had my neckerchief out. I just had it hung up on my uniform out in the open. I came back to the berth and it was gone. I ain't seen it since. But I was able to get a new neckerchief from the ship store. Luckily they had some in stock. But yeah, just make sure your stuff is locked up at all times. If someone does happen to steal your stuff and it's not locked up, it's your fault. And that MA is going to be like, it's your fault. You should have had your stuff locked up. They'll still try to help you out. But in the long run, it was your fault for leaving your stuff out in the open or unlocked. It's still not right that people steal or take your things, but just be smart about it. Have your things locked up at all times. So my next question is from Sailor NY. So do you have to live on the ship as a CS? So I'm a CS. No, just like everybody else, you're able to go home. You can get an apartment, or you can stay in the barracks off base or off ship. The only time you live on the ship is when we're out to sea doing workups on deployment. Then everyone will be on the ship living there as long as the ship is out to sea. But for CSs, yeah, we just like every other rate. We get to go home. We have our own houses, apartments, barracks. So my next question is from 31 Navy. Do you only share berthing with others in your rate, or does it matter? So every berthing should be with your rate only, but on smaller ships we're limited to space. So sometimes you'll have a medical in with air department, or air department with medical. You'll have supply with medical, a little bit of engineers scattered in there, some MAs in. So it's just limited to space on smaller ships. But on bigger, like aircraft carriers, you have berthings just for cooks, CSs. You have berthing for different air departments. You have berthings for different rates, and that's how it is. So yeah, for the most part, you have your own rate for each, your own berthing for each rate. But sometimes you have a couple rates scattered in there as well. But the majority will be your rate only. Okay, so what rate has to unclog the toilet? So the rate that has the unclogged toilets are the HTs. They are the ones that's like plumbers. They do welding also, but they the ones that go around unclogging toilets. So if you don't want an unclogged toilet, don't be a HT. Alright, so my next question is from Austin Revis. Is there fighting amongst sailors? So most of the time nobody's out there trying to fight. You might get a couple people that go at it arguing and stuff, but no one wants to get their pay deducted. No one wants to lose rank. So it is a hostile environment. You get people that go back and forth arguing, but no one's out there fighting. It's not prison. You might catch a fight every blue moon amongst like junior sailors, but that's about it. Nobody's doing nothing crazy. Alright, so my next question is from the Black Knight. Are you allowed to go home on weekends if you live like 3 hours away? So there's a 250-mile radius you're able to drive or travel to without putting in a chit, right on the chit for it, letting your command know about it. You can easily go there if you want to. At the end of work, if you want to drive 3 hours, as long as it's inside that 250-mile radius, you're good to do that. If it's outside 250 miles, you have to let your chain of command know, just so if anything happened to you, they want to know where you're going. So yeah, if you live 3 hours away, when I was in Virginia, we had sailors going home to North Carolina all the time because it was in that 250-mile radius. So if you live 3 hours away and it's under 250 miles, you're good to go. You can go home every weekend. You can go home every day if you want to. Alright, so that's a wrap. Those were the questions I got from Life on Board a Navy Ship video. Like always, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Just drop them down. I answer them. I try to get to them as soon as possible. But I really appreciate you guys. And like always, until next time, deuces.